Kevin buys a home. Amanda keeps renting. Everyone tells Kevin he made the smarter choice. Everyone is wrong, and the number that separates their net worth after 30 years is not what any of them expected. Let's run the real math. Let's make this completely fair. Kevin and Amanda are the same age, same city, same income. They both earn $80,000 a year. They both have $60,000 saved. The only difference is what they decide to do with it. Kevin uses his $60,000 as a 20% down payment on a $300,000 home. He takes out a 30-year mortgage at 7% interest. His monthly mortgage payment is about $1,995. His parents are thrilled. His friends congratulate him. His coworkers ask him when the housewarming party is. Kevin feels like he finally made it. Amanda keeps renting her $1,400 a month apartment. She takes her $60,000 and puts it into a total market index fund. She sets up an automatic monthly investment of $595. That is the difference between Kevin's mortgage payment and her rent. Her parents ask her when she is going to stop throwing money away on rent. Her friends feel sorry for her. Amanda smiles and opens her spreadsheet. On day one, Kevin has a home, a mortgage, and a story to tell. Amanda has an investment account and a lease agreement. Nobody is impressed by Amanda's choice, but impressive and mathematically optimal have never been the same thing. Here is the myth that drives more bad financial decisions than almost anything else in personal finance. Renting is throwing money away. This is the most repeated financial phrase in America. It is also one of the most misleading. When you pay rent, you get a place to live. You are not throwing money away. You are exchanging money for housing. When Kevin pays his mortgage, he is not building equity with every payment. In the early years of a 30-year mortgage at 7%, roughly 80% of every payment goes to interest, not principal, not equity. Interest. Kevin's first payment of $1,995 builds him approximately $330 in equity. The other $1,665 goes to the bank. If that is not throwing money away, the phrase has no meaning. Let's look at the real cost of homeownership that nobody puts in the Instagram caption. Property taxes on a $300,000 home run, roughly $3,000 to $5,000 per year depending on location. Homeowners insurance adds another $1,500 to $2,000 per year. Maintenance and repairs budget at 1% to 2% of home value annually. That is $3,000 to $6,000 per year. HOA fees, if applicable, can add $200 to $600 per month. Private mortgage insurance, if Kevin put down less than 20%, adds another $100 to $200 per month. Kevin put down exactly 20%, so he avoids PMI. But his total annual carrying cost beyond the mortgage payment is roughly $7,500 to $13,000 per year. That is $625 to $1,083 per month on top of his $1,995 mortgage. His true monthly housing cost is somewhere between $2,620 and $3,078. Amanda is paying $1,400. By year 3, Kevin has paid roughly $71,820 in mortgage payments. Of that, approximately $12,000 has gone to principal reduction. The remaining $59,820 has gone to interest. He has also paid roughly $22,500 to $39,000 in property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. His total housing expenditure over 3 years is somewhere between $94,320 and $110,820. His equity position, the $60,000 down payment plus $12,000 in principal payments plus any appreciation. If the home appreciated 3% per year, it is now worth roughly $328,000. His equity is approximately $88,000. Amanda, over the same 3 years, paid $50,400 in rent. Her $60,000 investment at 10% annual return has grown to approximately $79,000 to $83,000. Her $595 monthly contributions have added roughly $22,000 in contributions, plus growth. Her total investment portfolio is sitting at approximately $100,000 to $108,000. She spent $50,400 on housing. Kevin spent $94,320 to $110,820 on housing. Amanda spent significantly less on housing and has more in liquid investments. But Kevin has something Amanda does not. He has $88,000 in home equity, and that equity is backed by leverage. He used $60,000 to control a $300,000 asset, a 5-to-1 leverage ratio. When that asset appreciates, the gains are calculated on the full $300,000, not just his $60,000. That leverage is real and it is powerful. Here's where the story gets complicated in ways most people never calculate. By year 5, Kevin's home is worth approximately $348,000. His remaining mortgage balance is about $272,000. His equity is approximately $76,000. Wait, that is less equity than year 3 despite 2 more years of payments and appreciation. How is that possible? Because in the early years of a mortgage, almost every payment is interest. His equity growth is slower than most people expect. Amanda's portfolio at year 5 with consistent contributions is sitting at approximately $148,000 to $162,000. She has more liquid net worth than Kevin's equity position. On a rented apartment, by year 10, the picture starts to shift. Kevin's home is now worth approximately $403,000. His mortgage balance is down to roughly $247,000. His equity has grown to approximately $156,000. The appreciation is doing real work now. His leverage is compounding. Amanda's portfolio at year 10 is sitting at approximately $265,000 to $290,000, still ahead of Kevin's equity, but the gap is narrowing. Here is the year where everything changes. Around year 12 to 15, 2 things happen simultaneously for Kevin. His mortgage balance drops below the point where interest dominates each payment. His home value has appreciated significantly on the leverage base. His equity starts accelerating. By year 15, Kevin's home is worth approximately $467,000. His mortgage balance is down to roughly $224,000. His equity is approximately $243,000. For the first time, Kevin's equity is approaching Amanda's portfolio. Amanda's portfolio at year 15 is sitting at approximately $430,000 to $470,000. Still ahead, but Kevin is closing the gap. By year 20, the story is almost even. Kevin's home is worth approximately $542,000. His mortgage balance is down to roughly $193,000. His equity is approximately $349,000. Amanda's portfolio at year 20 is sitting at approximately $610,000 to $670,000. Amanda is still ahead in pure liquid net worth, but Kevin's equity is real, tangible, and growing faster now. By year 30, the mortgage is paid off. Kevin's home is worth approximately $729,000. He owns it outright. His equity equals the full home value, $729,000. His total housing cost over 30 years, including mortgage payments, taxes, insurance, and maintenance, is approximately $1,050,000 to $1,200,000. Amanda's portfolio at year 30 with consistent contributions and 10% average annual return is sitting at approximately $1,350,000 to $1,500,000. Her total rent paid over 30 years, assuming 3% annual rent increases starting from $1,400, is approximately $670,000 to $720,000. Amanda spent $670,000 to $720,000 on housing over 30 years. Kevin spent $1,050,000 to $1,200,000 on housing over 30 years. Amanda spent roughly $380,000 to $480,000 less on housing, and her investment portfolio is roughly $600,000 to $770,000 larger than Kevin's home equity. On pure numbers, Amanda wins. But here is what the numbers cannot capture. Kevin's home is paid off. He has zero housing cost in retirement beyond taxes and maintenance. roughly $500 to $700 per month. His retirement housing cost is near zero. Amanda still pays rent in retirement. That $1,400 rent from 30 years ago is now roughly $3,400 per month after 30 years of 3% annual increases. She needs to withdraw from her portfolio every month just to pay rent. Her larger portfolio is being consumed by ongoing housing costs. Kevin's home also gave him something the spreadsheet cannot value: stability, school districts, the ability to renovate and personalize, roots, a place his children grew up in. These have real value that does not show up in a net worth calculation. And Kevin has one more option. Amanda does not. He can downsize. Sell his $729,000 home, buy a $350,000 retirement property, and pocket $379,000 in tax-free gains under the current primary residence exclusion. That is a move Amanda cannot replicate from a rental. The honest answer is that buying wins in specific, identifiable situations. If you stay in the same home for more than 10 years, the leverage and appreciation math works strongly in your favor. If you are in a market where the price-to-rent ratio is reasonable, meaning home prices are not more than 15 to 20 times annual rent buying, makes strong financial sense. If stability, community, and long-term roots matter to you, the non-financial benefits of ownership are real and significant. Renting wins in specific identifiable situations too. If you might move within 5 years, transaction costs alone can wipe out any equity gains. Real estate agent fees, closing costs, and moving expenses can total 8% to 10% of the home's value. On a $300,000 home, that is $24,000 to $30,000 gone immediately. If you are in a market with extreme price-to-rent ratios like New York or San Francisco, renting and investing, the difference can dramatically outperform buying for decades. And if the discipline to invest the difference actually exists, renting is genuinely the mathematically superior choice in many markets. Kevin and Amanda both made reasonable decisions. Kevin bought stability, leverage, and a tax-advantaged asset. Amanda bought flexibility, liquidity, and compounding freedom. Neither of them is wrong, but only one of them ran the full numbers before deciding. The rent versus buy debate has a villain, and it is not renting. It is not buying either. The villain is making a $1 million lifetime decision based on what your parents did, what your friends think, or what a bumper sticker says about throwing money away. Because the math is more complicated than a bumper sticker, and your situation is more specific than a general rule. So the next time someone tells you renting is throwing money away, ask them one question. Have you calculated the total cost of ownership, including interest, taxes, insurance, maintenance, and opportunity cost over 30 years? Because the answer to that question is the only one that actually matters. And most people have never asked it.